Pretty and Pink by Silk Rose. Rarity was trotting towards Sugar Cube Corner on her way to ask Pinkie to model for her. She decided she was going to make a dress for Pinkie as a surprise. Her plan was to make the dress under the guise that it was for someone else, and then ask Pinkie out afterward. She would give her the dress they made together. She's had feelings for Pinkie for a little while now, so she was looking forward to this. She already had plans and ideas for the gown. It would, of course, be pink. She would make sure it brought out the beauty that she saw in the mare. After a short walk, Rarity arrived at Sugar Cube Corner. She was somewhat hesitant to knock. After this, there was no turning back. She gathered some confidence and decided to knock on the bakery's door. Not at all to Rarity's surprise, Mrs. Cake answered the door. "Hello? Is Pinkie Pie in?" Rarity asked. "Yes, dearie. Do you want to go see her?" "Certainly, darling." Mrs. Cake let Rarity inside and closed the door behind her. Rarity walked up the stairs to the upper part of the establishment, while Mrs. Cake went back into the kitchen. Once Rarity had ascended the stairs, she knocked on Pinkie's door. "Here goes nothing." Pinkie Pie answered the door a moment later and said, "Hey Rarity, what's up?" "Hello, darling. I was wondering if you could be my model for a particular dress?" Rarity asked. Pinkie smiled at her friend. "Sure, when?" "Right now, if it wouldn't be a bother." "Okay," Pinkie replied happily. Pinkie jumped out the door and closed it behind her. They walked down the steps. Once they reached the bottom, Pinkie called out, "Mrs. Cake, I'm going out." Mrs. Cake replied from the other room, "Okay, have fun." Rarity opened the front door with her magic. They walked through it and Rarity closed it behind them. They started walking to Carousel Boutique. "So, who's the client?" Pinkie asked. "You wouldn't know them. They're from Manhattan. Their coat is pink, so you would be the perfect model," Rarity said, looking nervous. "Are you sure?" Pinkie asked. "I know a lot of ponies." "Yes," Rarity said, hoping Pinkie would drop it. Rarity took a moment to admire Pinkie as she hopped beside her, none aware of the feelings she had towards her. She looked at her bouncing pink curls, so adorable, her pink fluffy ears, so cute, her blue eyes, so beautiful. Her thoughts were interrupted when Pinkie asked, "How's your day going, Rarity?" "Good, and yours, darling?" "It's going great." "That's good," Rarity smiled. "Do you have any ideas of how the dress will look?" Pinkie asked cheerfully. "I have a few. We shall see how it goes. Thank you for doing this for me, Pinkie. It means a lot to me," Rarity replied. "No problem, Rarity. I'm glad to help," Pinkie said. Shortly after the conversation had ended, they arrived at Carousel Boutique. Rarity opened the front door with her magic and motioned for Pinkie to go first. "After you." Pinkie Pie walked through the door. Rarity soon followed after and shut the door behind them. "Would you like to eat or drink anything before we get started?" Rarity asked. "Do you have any cupcakes?" Pinkie inquired. "No. How about cake? I've got some left over from a party Sweetie Belle had the other day." "Sure, I love cake," Pinkie chirped. "Let's go to the kitchen and I'll get it out for us," Rarity said, trotting to the kitchen, Pinkie soon following her. Once they were there, Pinkie sat down at the kitchen table while Rarity got the food out. "Would you like some milk with that?" Rarity asked. Pinkie nodded. "Yes." Rarity levitated the cake over the table and cut 2 pieces and put them on their plates. She put the cake back and got the milk from the fridge and poured them each a glass. "Here you are, darling," Rarity said as she laid the plate of cake and glass of milk in front of her crush, then laying hers in front of herself. "Thank you, Rarity," Pinkie said as she started munching on her cake. "It's no problem," Rarity replied. Rarity looked over at Pinkie and couldn't believe her eyes. How on earth does that mare look so cute doing something as simple as eating? Rarity thought. Then started eating to hide her blush. They sat quietly eating their cake and drinking their milk. Once they were done, Rarity cleaned up the dishes. Are you ready, darling? Rarity asked. Yes, Pinkie said. Rarity led Pinkie to a work area and said, Get on the stand and we can begin. Pinkie got up on the stand so Rarity could do her work. Rarity floated over her red work glasses and placed them on her snout. Why do you have to wear those while you work? You are too cute already, Pinkie thought and turned her head to hide her blush. Pinkie, I need you to look at me so I can make this dress, Rarity said. Oh, shoot, hopefully she doesn't notice, Pinkie thought, reluctantly turning her head to face Rarity. That's better, thank you, darling, Rarity said. Good, she doesn't seem to have noticed. Pinkie looked at Rarity. She was levitating different shades of pink fabric above Pinkie's coat. You can do this, Pinkie. All you have to do is stand here while the mare you have a crush on is a mere foot away, unknowingly being cute, Pinkie thought, gulping. Rarity had chosen the main fabric for the dress while Pinkie was thinking and was cutting it in the shape of the main dress layer. Once Rarity had finished cutting it, she laid it on Pinkie's back and started staring at Pinkie. Why is she staring at me like that? That doesn't look like a I'm making a dress kind of look, Pinkie thought. Rarity stopped staring and floated a sizable piece of fabric in front of her face for a few seconds. When she moved it away, Pinkie could notice the barest hint of a blush on Rarity's cheeks. Why is she hiding her face? What's going on? Pinkie wondered. Rarity moved the fabric around Pinkie's back as to level it out. Pinkie stopped paying attention to what Rarity was doing, lost in her thoughts. How long will this take? I don't know how long I can last. I need to tell her. Yeah, I'll do it after we're done making the dress. I can't hide my feelings any longer. There, Rarity said. It looks absolutely beautiful. And so do you, she thought. The dress was pink with 2 layers, one going to within an inch of the floor and 2 going halfway down the dress. It had light blue stitching about an inch from the bottom of each layer that ran along the dress. Going from one side to the other on her chest was a darker pink ribbon with a light blue bow in the centre. Rarity led Pinkie over to a mirror so she could see her work. Rarity, it looks amazing! I'm sure whoever gets it will love it, Pinkie said happily. Well, there is something I wanted to ask you, Rarity said, fidgeting a bit. Oh, there's something I want to ask you too. Can I go first? Pinkie asked. Sure, Rarity replied. What else could she want to ask me at a time like this? Rarity thought. Would you like to go out with me? Pinkie asked, looking nervous. Rarity stood for half a second. Did she just ask me out? Yes, Rarity answered, leaning forward to hug Pinkie in a tight hug. Pinkie returned the hug. I was actually about to ask you the same thing, believe it or not, Rarity said, pulling away from the hug with a slight blush on her face. Wow, that's amazing, Pinkie said with a giant smile on her face. The dress is yours. There never was a client. I made them up. I'm sorry I lied. I just wanted to surprise you with a dress, Rarity said. Pinkie's mouth hung open for a second. Then she closed it and started tearing up. Oh, thank you, Rarity. You're the best. She wrapped Rarity in a tight hug. They pulled away from the hug and stared into each other's eyes, not speaking. They slowly moved their heads closer until their lips met. They held the kiss for a long while, both parties releasing weeks of pent-up lust and passion into the kiss. Once they were done, they leaned back and just stared at each other for a moment. "Hey, you know what this calls for?" Pinkie asked with a big smile on her face. Rarity gulped and said, "A party?"